Today I'm so excited to have Gina King as my guest. Gina is the director at Thames Valley Council for Collaborative
Community Action.
Community Action, and she's been there since 2019. So she's going to talk to us about the importance of getting involved and helping out and being a volunteer. So please join me in just saying hello to Gina King. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thank you, Kate, for having me. I'm so honored to be on your show. This is great.
Oh, it's just lovely. So tell me, I know that you do a lot, and I just talked to my friend Brian Burridge, and he said, talk about the umbrella. Now, what does he mean, the umbrella? What is this all about?
We do so much. So TVCCA, which is short for Thames Valley Council for Community Action.
Okay.
We have about 30 programs. We're a huge social service agency. We service New London and Windham counties. We've been around since, I think, 1975.
That's a long time.
Long time, and we've just grown. We do everything from energy assistance to helping women and children with our WIC program, SNAP benefits, signing people up for food stamps, housing, and the program that I oversee as the Director of Senior Volunteer Services is our Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. And that's linking people up in the community with volunteer opportunities.
So that's really nice. So it's really important, I think. For me, when I moved here, I had three siblings, actually. My sister, and then two of my brothers who lived in the area, and they since have passed away. So it's like I have lost family, but it's kind of a way of reinventing yourself, I think, within a community to get involved and to volunteer. So what do you hear from people when they get out there and start volunteering? What do people say about that?
Absolutely. I mean, just for the reasons that you gave about feeling connected to their community. Our age group, you can start volunteering for us at 55, which is still very young. So there are some people who are not fully retired and they're just kind of scaled back on their work. So they're still working part-time and maybe taking care of family, but they want that connection to their community. They want that purpose, getting up out of bed in the morning and going and doing something and feeling that connection with people. So we have people that are newly retired and, you know, the husband or wife has been sitting on the sofa all day and, you know, they get pushed out, go do something, find something to do. And so we've heard from people who get involved in our volunteering opportunities and have really found another, you know, just outlet that they love.
I would imagine it's almost getting a lease on life, like a new whole venue and doing something that perhaps wasn't in your wheelhouse previously.
Absolutely. And I mean, retiring affords you that, so now you can kind of do what you want to do. And we have people who, to keep their social connection to their community, they are delivering Meals on Wheels, they're visiting with someone. During COVID, we switched over to phone reassurance. So just making those weekly phone calls to somebody who is socially isolated really kept everyone connected and just is just a great thing. It's a win-win really for both the volunteer and the people who need the service.
Well, I want to ask you about, is there an interest inventory that you fill out? How do you get started? What is the process?
Absolutely. So we have a short enrollment form where we just get basic information, find out what your interests are, your availability, what location you would like to be in, and we have opportunities all over. We can find someone in your neighborhood, or if you're willing to go a little bit further, like I said, we service New London and Windham counties. We do a background check. We do sex offender and criminal. We also ask for 2 references. And basically it's just finding out what the person is interested in. If it was a former teacher and they want to keep that connection to helping children, we have child care assistance where you can help in our Head Start and Little Learner facilities, and you can go in and work with the children and the teachers. If you want to try something completely different outside of your comfort zone, we have visiting and shopping services. During the pandemic, as everybody knows, we had a lot of seniors and disabled people that were isolated. They had no cars, they were homebound, but still living independently. So our services provide visiting and shopping, and our volunteers are wonderful. So they will go out and shop for someone, or they can take the person with them, which is great because people still want to get out and, you know, be independent. So our volunteers can do that as well.
It sounds fun, really. It sounds like a great opportunity.
It is, absolutely.
And it could be as simple as one phone call a week, or it could be something that you would do almost every day if you want, I would imagine.
It's as little as 1 hour a week, or you can do as much as you want. It's all according to the volunteer schedule. We're very flexible. Once we get the enrollment form and all of the paperwork is processed, we go to work matching people. So we really do a good job to try to match people with interests, with skills, with location, and personality. And we bring everybody together in a meeting. Now that we're meeting in, you know, during outside of COVID here, and we, you know, just get people up and running and feeling comfortable with one another.
So you do a little bit of vetting in the process. First of all, the application, then the criminal and the background check and sex offender check. But then you actually do kind of an interview, and is it one-to-one or with a group of people, or how does that work?
Sure. So our program coordinator goes out first and she meets with the person who needs the service. So she goes and she interviews a person, finds out what they need. She makes sure their home or their apartment is safe for the volunteer. And then once we do the paperwork for the volunteer and the match is made, we bring everyone together. So it would be the program coordinator, the volunteer, and the client meeting in the client's home.
I see. Okay.
And so that's kind of, you know, just to bring everybody together. It's a meet and greet. At that time, they discuss schedules and, you know, what's going to work for the both of them. And then we kind of let them, you know, work it out. And we always stay in touch. We make, you know, monthly phone calls to check in with both the volunteer and the client. We're always filling out reports and doing surveys, but we find that just, you know, letting people do their thing and work out their schedules, and soon they become friends.
It's all about friendship, and it's all about that companionship. Now, is your company or agency, is it a 501c3 or a federally funded program? Or?
It is both. So we are a total nonprofit, 501, you know, C3,
right?
And we also receive federal and state funds. Absolutely.
So you don't, the recipient of the services doesn't pay anything for the services that are provided for them?
Absolutely, they pay nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing. We do reimburse our volunteers for mileage if they're shopping.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's a nice kind of perk. We also cover our volunteers for insurance, which a lot of places don't do, so they are fully insured with us.
Oh, nice, nice. What is your favorite program, if you have a favorite? You're not supposed to have a favorite child, but maybe you can have a favorite program.
You know, I started here as a program coordinator back in 2015. I got promoted 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I used to be the one going out and meeting the volunteers and meeting the clients, and I don't get to do that so much now because I'm kind of stuck in the office doing boring reports. But
and you're a people person. So.
Yeah, kind of, sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
So I really miss that, and I really enjoy meeting the people. But I do get a chance to go out to our veteran coffee houses.
Oh, nice.
Which is fantastic. So these are also part of our program. They started about 8 years ago. They're part of our volunteer program. It's another opportunity that people can also volunteer in the coffee houses. So we have 6 of them currently: Groton, New London, Norwich, Mystic, Pawcatuck, and Montville. And it's a way for our veterans and their spouses to come together, meet, socialize, free coffee, baked goods, and they can also listen to speakers that we have come in and talk about veteran benefits and services and provide information.
Nice.
So, and I can leave one of these flyers for you, but they meet twice monthly in each location, and from 9 to 11, and spouses are welcome as well. And so, you know, that's another way that I just enjoy being part of the program, is getting out there and meeting the veterans, and you know, helping them however we can.
Absolutely. And that's where I met you. There's one in East Lyme as well, but I think the one in East Lyme is in the evening.
That's in the evening, and that's actually not hosted by our agency. That's a separate one that Brian does.
Okay.
We support it fully. There's also one in Waterford as well that was started after ours. But we manage the ones in Groton, New London, Mystic, Pawcatuck, Norwich, and Montville.
That's a big job right there.
It is, yes. And Brian is so busy. He's one of our volunteers. He actually visits with a couple of veterans. And we just recently hired another program coordinator, a Veterans Coffee House coordinator, who hosts these meetings. He arranges for the speakers. He's there. He facilitates the conversations and the topics and everything. So it's free. It's open to all veterans, active military. We have a group of Coast Guard and Navy younger people that are coming, which is fantastic.
Nice.
We're lucky enough to have at least one World War II veteran who attends each coffee house, which is fantastic.
Who is that?
In each coffee house, we have certain ones. So
Okay.
Harry, as you know, is World War II.
Right.
And at least in the other coffee houses, we have World War II veterans
And they
coming.
have amazing stories, but sometimes they don't really like to talk about it, so that's...
We're lucky that they do. I have one that he's probably 96, 97. He goes to Mystic and Pawcatuck. He remembers everything like it was yesterday. He sits there and he tells us, stories about, he was in the Army and the Navy, so he tells us stories about everything, and not everything is bad. He seems to remember a lot of the good, the companionship, the what he did and how it shaped his life. So
Well, the skills that you learn and the camaraderie, I would think, are really important things that people walk out of the military after having served our country.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's just a wonderful, casual, inclusive way for people to get together. And again, it falls under our visiting program and socialization.
Visiting and socialization. Now, if somebody wanted to learn to develop some of those skills, is that something that you help to facilitate as well?
Sure, if we have a new volunteer, you mean? Absolutely. We have people that have never done it before. We've had a gentleman, he retired from EB, and I think he told me he was one day out of retirement and he couldn't stand sitting at home anymore. So he had never visited with people. He had a social job at work, but this was something all new to him. And we matched him with a gentleman in Waterford, and the two of them have become friends.
Nice.
And he's been doing it now for about 4 years.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
Yeah, we're there to help. We're there to guide people. And we find that, like I said, people just become friends.
And what about speaking? Is there an opportunity for people to go and share their expertise? If you're, I don't know, an audiologist, or my fort was as a speech pathologist, and the work I did in the schools, and now I'm doing some work with older people as well too. But are there opportunities like that if somebody has a particular thing that they're skilled at and knowledgeable about, that they could
Sure.
come and provide some information and develop their speaking
Absolutely.
skills?
Absolutely. We're always looking for speakers for our coffee houses. We try to get speakers to come in that can talk about topics that veterans, the military, would be interested in. We've had all types of speakers from the community, from authors to people in different professions to veteran service representatives. So that's a great opportunity for somebody to come in and either practice their skills or tell us about their business or their interest. For teachers, there's opportunities to continue with childcare
Nice.
if they're interested in going in and offering a certain type of program. We started an art program actually before COVID. We got about 1 year in and then COVID hit. But we actually were working with a volunteer who was a former art teacher.
Nice.
So it was a way for her to give back and come in and still retain her art skills and expand that to other people.
Nice. And what kind of art does she do?
She did watercolor, painting, that type of thing. She taught both in schools and privately.
So you have the facility, you have the nice long tables and the open space, and you can set up, and it's not like it's a cramped, crowded place that you have to worry about.
For the coffee houses?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for those classes that you're doing as well, too.
The art program, yes, we're hoping to start that back up again soon. This was something that we did at one of the senior housing units. So it's still on hold right now with COVID, but we're hoping to start that back up again.
Okay.
But yes, we all would meet once a month in a community room and bring this stuff to do the art project.
Oh,
So it was
that's
great.
lovely. That's
It was a good
lovely.
time.
Nice. I'm doing a writing program currently at the senior center in East Lyme, and I've just found that to be so amazing that people are kind of getting their stories out and writing.
Absolutely.
But tell me why this is so important. Why do you choose this kind of work where it's always juggling a number of things simultaneously? It can't be easy at all. So why is this your passion? Why are you doing this?
I love helping people. You know, it's a type of position that I think I've grown into. Every day I'm learning a little bit more. And I hear all the time from the volunteers and the clients how much it's changed their lives, what an impact the volunteer has made on the person's life to continue remaining, you know, living independently in their own home. I hear from volunteers, and my parents are volunteers.
Nice.
My stepmother's a visiting volunteer, and my dad shops for someone.
Oh, nice.
And my stepmother loves the woman that she visits with. The two have become friends.
Of course.
And it's just amazing. And so I hear that all the time, and you know what? You feel like $1 million at the end of the day.
Isn't that great?
When you hear good things like that, and you know you're helping in the community, and I really enjoy it. It's great.
Good for you. Well, I'm glad that you're doing that and have so many interesting opportunities for people to get involved, because I think there's no reason to be bored, and there's no reason, and you don't have to go far to find somebody who has things worse than you do to understand that you can do more and help others, and in turn you feel like you benefit so much. So
Absolutely. It's a win-win for both people. It's a win for the volunteers as much as, you know, it is for the person that they're helping. So.
Is there any program in particular that you're having a shortage of that you really need some help with? Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you asked that. Actually, shoppers. Shopping is still a big need right now. We still have a lot of people who cannot drive. They can't go into grocery stores. They might be physically not able to go in. So we have a great need for anybody who's willing to shop. And we try to make it as easy for everybody involved. You can either take the person with you if you both feel safe, or they can get the grocery list and they can go out and get the groceries. And we have opportunities everywhere. You know, like I said, we serve New London County and Windham County, so.
What is the geographical square footage of that, or
like
square
1,200 miles.
That's
yeah,
huge.
It's a big area. Yep, absolutely. As well as our Meals on Wheels. So we, you know, have opportunities for people to deliver Meals on Wheels as well.
But it's only 55 and older, because
Yes.
my daughter was doing food delivery and I would help out sometimes, and she was in high school at the time, but high school kids cannot get involved with any of this. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, so
Okay.
we're part of AmeriCorps Seniors.
Okay.
People might be familiar with AmeriCorps, which was the big Peace Corps, and so that's the big umbrella where people can volunteer if they're younger under AmeriCorps, but ours program is AmeriCorps Seniors. So, and I know 55 is a little young to be considered a senior, but that's the age where, you know, we accept people to start volunteering.
Well, you're a baby senior.
Baby senior. 55 is like the new 40 now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
people are so active, and that's another reason why I think our volunteering is wonderful. It keeps you active, it keeps you engaged. Like I said, we have people who aren't fully retired and they just kind of want to fill in some time gaps. They still want to give back, and then we have people that are fully retired. And this gives them a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
It's good for everybody, like you said, a win-win. So tell me, do you have any good stories that have come out of your work? I'm sure that you meet some really interesting people, and
Yeah,
anything
absolutely.
that you can share?
Have some great stories. I can think of two of our veterans who we matched a couple of years ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. They were two veterans. They were both in the Navy. Paul, who was our volunteer, he started visiting this gentleman who created these beautiful model ships and planes. So, you know, Paul would go over there and he would help him with his models, and then Paul started to bring him to the Norwich Coffee House, and the gentleman since passed away. But they became friends and were friends right up until the end. Paul was visiting him in the hospital, and the the niece of the gentleman who passed away reached out to me and let us know that her uncle had passed away, and how much the coffee houses and Paul's friendship meant to him. And for his memorial, in lieu of giving flowers, people were able to donate to our coffee houses. So I just thought that was wonderful, that Paul made that much of an impact on his life, that we were remembered in that way. And there's just so much. Harry, who you know, is starting to come to the coffee houses. He's picked up his easel and his paintbrushes again and is starting to paint. We invited him to the New London Coffee House, and he did an art demonstration for us, which was great. And since then, Brian has now got him involved in the East Lyme coffee houses, so he's going to be offering art classes.
And they're donation only, if you have just a couple dollars or,
Right.
a couple thousand, you can donate it, and it all goes to the veteran building to sustain the work that goes on there.
So that's fantastic. And, it's gotten Harry, he's in his 90s. And
he's 97.
Wow.
And, when you see him with art, his eyes just sparkle.
Yeah.
If he's looking at a piece, and I'd like to do pastel, so he's always giving me feedback on the work that I do.
Okay. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed having him, and we'll have him back again, definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's a great program.
Well, I certainly am going to go on the website. And what is the website? Is it TVCCA?
TVCCA.org.
Okay.
Right, and we also have a Facebook page.
Okay.
So people can find us. You don't have to be, have a profile on Facebook. You can just go on there and do a search. It's TVCCA/RSVP.
Okay.
And we post stuff. We have information about our coffee houses. We just got done doing the stand down last Friday that they had in Norwich for the veterans. It's a big resource fair for veterans. So we do these community outreach events, and we were there with the other vendors and the agencies, letting them know about our services. We were at the Healthy Living Festival in Norwich on Saturday. That's another volunteer opportunity. If people love that community outreach or the fundraising, we have opportunities that people can get involved that way and represent us at these events. We're starting to do them now, which is really nice.
Right, and hopefully we can get out of this pandemic and get back to a new normal, I think, and not have to be so isolated. I think the isolation is the biggest killer of people's spirits, and we need people, we need other people, we need to be connected.
We do. I think if anything, the last year and a half has really taught us how important that connection is, and that we're here for one another, and it gives people hope.
Absolutely, and hope is essential. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to cover as far as your programs? And
I think that's it. Yeah, so please get in touch with us. If I could leave you our information. If you want to volunteer, can I shout out a phone number?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Please.
You can get in touch with Georgia James.
Georgia.
She is our program coordinator. She's here in New London, and she's the one who can send enrollment forms and matches people with opportunities. Her number is 860-425-6608.
6608.
And if you'd like to email her, it's G for Georgia, James, her last name, James, at tvcca.org.
Okay.
And
so that's one way to get a hold of you.
Yes.
Also, we can go on Facebook.
You can go on
also
Facebook.
You have a website.
We have a website, tvcca.org. You can learn about our organization. If you go under seniors, you'll find our volunteer information there.
And some people like little ones too. So like you said, a retired teacher, teachers retire young and then they miss the kids. So it's a way for them to get back into doing that with the children.
Absolutely, yes. Our Head Start Little Learners, they've been in full swing since the pandemic started. So they're back up and running, and we're looking for child care assistants in New London and Taffville, and Groton too, as well. So they would go in, they would escort the children to the classrooms and help the teachers in the classroom with reading to the children and just helping them with listening skills and, just playing with the kids.
It's so important. All of those skills are so important. Now, what about vaccinations? Do you need to be vaccinated to volunteer, or what is the stance with?
At this time, we're not requiring it. I have to say most of our volunteers are fully vaccinated. And again, we match people with their comfort level. So if they want to do something remotely, we have phone reassurance. So, both people can just remain living in their, staying in their house and just call each other. If you want to do the grocery shopping and you don't feel comfortable taking
Just
someone,
drop it off.
you can just drop off their groceries.
Sure.
So we work with everybody, wherever they're at with their comfort level.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. I think the phone for Georgia James is going to be ringing off the hook.
I hope so.
Let me repeat it, 860-425-6608.
Yes.
And it's gjames@tvcca.org.
You got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're Gina King, and you
Yes.
are the director. So you're keeping all of these things under the umbrella. So
Trying to, yes.
thank
yes.
you so much, Gina, for all of your work.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.